Alright.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast for the week of November 23rd, Saturday, 2019.
2019.
I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
My Blaze.
My Blaze. Ha.
Dig it.
I wanted to do a review of the Lots Complex mixtape that
will.
came out in 2008, but we're not going to do that today.
2008?
2008, bro. We shout out the date on that joint multiple times, though. We're 23. He was 23 years old recording that joint, man.
So
I mean, that joint was like 13 years ago when we doing the album. It was crazy.
Dropped the mixtape.
It was wild.
23.
We'll do that on the next episode. We'll do that on the next episode, man. But,
next episode.
Where'd the time go?
Yo, that album, we did that almost as long ago as this injection lasts. 13 years, man. It's crazy. So, first topic is male birth control. The shot reportedly passed clinical trials and could be available as early as 2020.
Reported on a BET article.
Wow. I don't know if I trust this thing, man.
I wouldn't do it.
I wonder, man.
I wouldn't do it.
I mean, it's a male birth control shot, okay? It's not a pill, it's not a patch. You get a shot, and apparently, according to these trials that they had, one injection is effective for approximately 13 years.
Wait, what?
That's what it says at the top.
Yeah.
Alright.
Just
I
one
did not
injection.
read that part. So I was down with this joint all the way up. I did not see that last part.
Yeah, just
So
one
it says the
injection.
trials are over, including extended phase 3 clinical trials for which 303 candidates were recruited with 97.3 success rate, which is good, right? 97.3% is great.
Sure.
You
If you're a
wanna be in that-
pharmaceutical company trying to make money, yes.
Yeah, dig it.
Oh,
Not if you're not a dude trying to have sex and not have kids, though.
Just don't get it.
With no reported side effects. But yeah, you're right. And get this, just one injection is effective for approximately 13 years.
wow.
How could they come up with that, man?
So they're sterilizing me for 13 years. So did they do these trials 13 years ago?
They had to. I mean, how do you come up with something like that? Approximately.
Right. How do you project that it's going to be effective for 13
I
years?
mess around and get stuck. And 2 days later, I run off and then I gotta I'm pregnant.
All right. We need to
Run
talk.
off?
Your girl comes to you. We need to talk.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, you run off and
That's old
you're
school.
red all in your mouth.
So I don't know if I trust this thing. Like anything that's going to sterilize me for 13 years.
That's
I'd almost,
It's bound to be.
if I was considering this as an option for birth control for myself or as a man, I'd almost rather take a pill or a shot. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, not a shot, but have the patch.
Right, yeah. Because that's what I was thinking this was. Like, I thought this was a periodic stop measure.
Right.
Like, well, when women have birth control, they do the pill over a period of time, they get the patch, they, every once in a while they re-up the
shot.
prescription, whatever. it is.
Even the shot for women, I'm almost positive that joint doesn't last for 13 years.
Hell no.
I think it was like 6 months, maybe a year.
They have to go back. Like,
Right, yeah, you got to go back
why
and get
is
another
this
shot.
So how?
And you know what? So this whole time, like, I ain't gonna front, I was super skeptical because one dude, I remember when I first saw this article, it was on my friend's page, and dude was like, "Oh, they're trying to sterilize black people," and I was like, "Ah, come on, man, don't be crazy." I did not see they talking about 13 years for one shot though.
Right.
That's castration,
Pretty
right?
much.
That's not just birth control, man.
You're chemically sterilizing me for 13 years. How I mean, we all kind of know it's a open secret that pharmaceutical companies tend to bend the rules when it comes to side effects and they want to make money at the end of the day. So anything that's going to sterilize me for 13 years, I'm not sure if I'm gonna trust that.
That's a bit expensive,
But the
man.
feeble-minded see that number, and cats are out here just trying to be all willing and then trying to have a bunch of sex and then just want to run off and then not worry about somebody getting called in the morning.
Which I completely sympathize with.
Baby mamas, thing going on.
That's a great angle.
Anybody
right?
with that kind of thinking that don't have to go through that. Man, I can get in. I gotta worry about getting called, going to divorce, child support, baby mama job. I mean, a lot of people will actually go for this.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I would have gone for this, but
Especially
like if I
young
was in
crowd,
the younger juice, the juice of 2008,
Right.
right?
The Lots
The
Complex.
Lots Complex juice, right? Like that juice would have been all for like a procedure like this. Of course, until I heard about the 13 years thing, because then that would bring me back to where I am now. I was like that's a vasectomy. I don't want a vasectomy. I just I want to stop. Yeah, I condoms kind of suck, man. You know, and you don't want to always rely on the girl to have make sure her stuff is in order.
It's not
Right? You just kind of want, you know, and if you have like, here's the thing, it's not like you're like I wasn't a guy who was sleeping around a lot.
Right.
Right? I wasn't sleeping with a bunch of different
This
girls.
shit ain't an age
But I
shot.
had like a regular, you know, and then condoms suck. You don't want to get pregnant, right? So
But at the same time, like, you know, going
13
back
years
to,
is too long.
if this was an option for you, like, is it fair for us to ask the woman to get a shot or to take a pill when the man, you know, would it be unfair for it to be an option for the man? You know, like if she said, hey, you know, I don't want to have another baby, I think you should get the shot as a man. You know, Juice, Chris, you should get the shot. So I don't have to be on birth control. Is that an unfair thing for her to ask you?
Nah, that honestly to me that would seem fair. Like if you were,
Right.
if you guys already had like you're with your wife or whatever, and you guys are settled down, whatever you're done, and you not want to have no more kids. You had your kids.
Kids
you're
are
done.
expensive.
Kids are expensive.
Right. That does
Anyway, so like yeah, that would, and why have her on the birth control constantly?
Right.
You know, just get
'Cause
the
that can
shot.
be damaging for her
And
as
be
well.
Clear. Yeah, you'd be good for 13 years. For a man, that seems fair to me. Like if you're 45, you're not looking at no more kids, then
I guess. So later in the article it says, this less invasive method to a vasectomy may appeal to men hesitant to go under the knife. The contraceptive is called reversible inhibition of sperm under guidance and is made up of a polymer that is injected into the tubes that carry sperm from the testicles known as the vas deferens, reports Fox News.
so it pretty much gums up the work.
So basically, I think it's an injection in your balls.
Yes,
What
it
we
is.
talking
That's
about
it.
here,
You
man.
just said
They
it right
got a
here.
picture of your arm, like a shoulder. I don't know if it's a shoulder, man. I think that might be a scrotum that they stretched out.
They stretch their gun out to
It's
pluck
right.
all the hairs
They're gonna
off.
stick a
it
needle
says
in
it
your
right
balls,
here. It says it right
and
here.
you're gonna be sterile for 13
It
years.
says it right here. That it's injected into the tubes that carry your sperm. Your sperm is not carried in your leg.
So would you rather have a
That's his ball, dude. That's the balls, man.
right?
That's what
I
it
said.
says.
Just
Like
like
that,
the scrotum in that picture right there.
Yeah.
So,
they got
so would you rather
lift
have a
the gut.
vasectomy as an option, or would you consider the male birth control shot?
Oh man, you know what?
'Cause
It's the
vasectomy-
shot though, because the vasectomy they do gotta. What they gotta cut your balls off?
I heard it's like a
Nah,
laser
they got-
now. I heard
they
it's like a
got-
laser now.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a knife.
Yeah,
And,
normally
scalpel.
Back, yeah, back in the day it was they had to use a knife to cut the tubes. And
Yeah.
burn it. I think
going there
burn
with a
it,
scalpel
like
and
that.
shit.
Yeah, but now I think it is laser. I heard
Mhm.
about that. It's done laser now.
So
I don't know.
vasectomies don't have like
And vasectomies are more
side
permanent.
effects in generally,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Yeah.
no,
no.
there's no
So
side
this
effect.
just gums up the tubing
Yeah.
as opposed to cutting
That's
the
what,
tubing.
and actually the fact that it's funny, it's how that you said that part. And you side effect part of it. Because the vasectomy, you know what I'm saying, it's just like it's a permanent thing. There's no side effect, no nothing like that. But if you get injected with a needle, like you say, it probably gums up the work, and gums up the tube.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why I'm not too keen about doing injections and things like that. I'd rather just go ahead and do the, you know what I'm saying, not the knife, but the laser they got now. I'd rather do it that way. It's permanent. And you don't really have any side effects behind it. You don't have to worry about getting stuck with some, some foreign get injected into you anyway.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be in there.
And what happens in this
Like
quote
in
unquote
years-
13
like
years
from now,
is this
just your
like
body changes,
yeah,
especially for males.
and it's whatever they're shooting into you. This
How long
stuff,
is that going to last?
and does it deteriorate over
Yeah,
time?
with your
And
body.
is there like that stuff in your? And then what's the side effects of that?
There's a lot
Like
of
here's the thing, they had I don't know how long this phase 3 clinical trial is with 303 candidates, but apparently you kind of need like a good 20 years,
Yeah,
To really test
come up
it
with
out.
yeah,
that
to make sure that it's actually in the clear. You know,
come
like
up
I
with that
don't.
kind of approximation. 13 years. That's a big difference. That's a big difference.
like they should have started these trials the same year the Lock Complex mixtape came out.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
And you could have a viable conclusion to your experiment, you know?
But question: what if they did started back when the Lost Complex came out in 2008?
It's definitely,
And then-
definitely possible.
That's the marker in time right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
and then they have these same conclusions after that 20-year span.
Right.
Then I would be a little bit more comfortable with it, but we don't know. Here's the thing: the article doesn't say.
Now we talked about that. We talked about earlier how, like I said, women who are on birth control and we got to re-up eventually. if we got to re-up with this, how much is that going to cost? After a while, how many times can you get shots without, anything going wrong when you get injected? So how many times can you do that without anything actually happening to you on the inside? Like I said, this is foreign stuff getting injected into you. So eventually, side effects, something's going to end up happening because your body's going to change.
All valid questions,
And
man.
this stuff right here is not naturally made. You're not born with it.
All valid
It's not
questions
part
that
of
are
your
not
body.
answered in this article.
But well, maybe we should have found another article.
And how much is
First
it
off,
cost?
BET is not a scientific journal.
No, but
By my understanding.
I think they're marketing it at black men, right? Because it's not. I don't think it's a coincidence that this article came out on a BET website. I'm sure that other sites reported. I mean, Fox News is quoted in the site and all that stuff, in the article and everything.
But they're not going to put it out there like you got this wood.
A lot of things are focused at black men, man. What did I see? I saw a commercial on like ESPN now a couple days ago. And you know how they said that ESPN markets to the black male audience because there's a large unemployed black male audience that's home during the day, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, noon. What did I see? There was a commercial for D's Do's Nuts or something like that. It's this brand of peanuts, and the commercial was like D's Nuts. Oh, do you like D's Nuts? You know what I mean? It was straight up aimed at black people, man. Like, and it was kind of silly. It wasn't funny as they were trying to put it across, but they do that type of shit, man. These companies do that. They market certain things towards a certain
To our stereotype.
group. Right.
And they put that stereotype thing out there and kind of pique the interest
Right.
of who they're trying to talk to. They do certain things, like you said, they do certain things that specific culture will react to
Right.
more so than anything.
And I think this shot might be for someone who maybe has one kid, maybe doesn't have any, doesn't want to have any in the near future, and
Trying to bust and not have
they want to be able to have relations with their partner without having the side effect, quote unquote side effect of getting her pregnant, right? I think a vasectomy would be more for somebody who has 8 kids. It's like, yo, this child support is killing me. I'm done. I don't want no more. You know what I mean? Like, you know that's
Or maybe just a dude who don't want kids, period, right?
You know what I mean?
He already got 8 kids.
These dudes be saddled with kids, man. I'm like, yo, stop having all these babies, man. That's where all these problems come from,
Some
man.
people just be having them, baby.
Yeah, no, they just be having them, man.
That is true, man. I know.
Dude, my job got like 7 kids, man. I'm like, bruh, stop
That's
it.
crazy.
Like, zip it up, bro.
Is it that good, man?
Yo, dog, like, your pull-out game sucks, dog. Your pull-out game is weak.
I can't do that.
No, yeah, I gotta
Pull-out
stay in
game
it.
is weak.
Right, man. You gotta work on your pull-out game, bro.
My nose on point, dude.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would ever consider this.
I feel like most of this was done in India.
I think I would.
You think so?
That's what it's looking like. I found a PBS article, and essentially, yeah.
And does it say that it said 303 candidates, right? So what are the candidates?
from?
Goats? I
Where
mean,
they come
are they
from?
people?
Yeah.
Right,
Where
like,
they come from?
did they test this on goats? Because I don't know, man. Like,
I'm gonna be
you know,
surprised.
it doesn't say whether they tested on 300 human men. It
Where
says
they came
303 candidates were recruited with a 97.3% success rate and no reported side effects.
Who
So-
the candidates? Where they come from?
Right, were they testing on camels? Or,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, not to be stereotypical, you know, you said India and all that, you know what I mean? But, you know, like, were they testing on cows or
No,
was it
people.
human trial?
I think it's human trials, man. According to, well,
I mean, what's the,
Like,
I mean, the
how
human trial.
desperate do you have to be to sign up for a human,
A shot
for a
in your
trial?
ball,
Yeah, to get a shot in your balls, they're gonna sterilize you for 13 years.
They might, I mean,
Like, if I came to see, I was like, yo, see, how much you want for me to shoot you up in the balls with this shot that's gonna sterilize you in 13 years, bro?
$3,000.
Yeah, hell no, no. That's not enough. No.
$30.
No, what?
No, man.
Yo, pay my rent for a month.
And that's
man.
man, people, I work for the rest of my life.
Right.
Life, man, get that.
I don't know how much this trial will be worth.
Yeah. But see, the thing, like you said, the question. I mean, where did they come from? What population did they? Was it a neighborhood like black neighborhood, low income neighborhood type? Because this, I can't see them going after white folks for this.
I mean, I think they would
Not
go after
too many.
anybody.
I think I mean,
Not
it's
too many.
supposed to be like. Here's one thing I know: a lot of white men get vasectomies.
Yeah, but not
Right.
like this.
Pharmaceutical
So what if
companies
this is
are not
just
racist.
another like? This is more of a designer style vasectomy. This is like,
Yeah.
oh, instead of doing the surgery,
Yeah.
we have this cheap, easy, effective method where you just shoot you in the balls, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, you're done. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like that might be actually better for older white males.
Mhm.
Now,
Older white males, yeah.
I don't know. When you think about the vasectomy part, I don't know a lot of young black men who are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a vasectomy, son.
Right.
That's what's next." Like, nah. I feel
Although
like, but I feel like
probably
if
a lot
they,
of black men that need that shit.
yeah, but I feel like if this was like just a pharmaceutical method of like making more money and just having a product that would sell more, they would have a short-term version of this
Right.
that would not be 13 years worth of
Right,
sterilization,
right.
right?
But we still never
I feel like maybe they're not so much marketing this to black people just off of that because
And honestly, I think that
vasectomies aren't really a young black guy thing, that's for sure.
right. I think a lot of corporations,
concept of it, no.
a lot of corporations corporations are not racist. Maybe in their business practices and the people who run the corporations are racist, but
They're
as far
attempting
as
making money or getting that black money.
the
right?
bottom line is, I want your money. So it don't matter if you black, white, Indian. We're gonna market this shit, and I want you to buy it. So, and you're right. A lot of white guys do get. I don't think vasectomies come with a race, right? Like if you don't
Not
want to have
really,
kids,
no.
if you want
Like
to get
black people,
Right.
Indians,
Black,
and
white,
everybody gets
anybody.
vasectomies, right? But
You don't want
or even
kids.
the shot now that's available. Like I think a lot of any race would consider that. You know?
especially if it's cheaper, like say it's cheaper.
That's what they
It might
How
be
much
open
does
to a
this
lot
actually
more.
cost to do this?
That
Because that's still
that adds into it too.
So randomly I thought about this, but I remember seeing recently, and it'll probably take me too long to pull up the article, but there was a post about a woman, a governor in, I can't remember what state, but
Governor?
she just signed a bill to chemically castrate male prisoners. Now, I don't know if they were sex offenders or whatever, but she signed a bill to have male prisoners chemically castrated
Can you
in her
do
prison.
Where is this at?
Is that like,
That's the thing. I have to give me a minute to pull up to look it up.
like is that?
It can't
But
be.
You know that has to
definitely-
violate some kind of rights.
Yeah.
Like if the man doesn't
humane
want it,
rights,
yeah,
at
like
least.
if it's like involuntary.
Yeah, that's humane rights. I say that can't be done over here. That had to be over in cities, countries over across seas.
You know, say you got a dude that's locked up for selling, even something like coke or crack. Like he might never killed nobody. He just got caught with a lot of drugs on him. Got sent to prison. Is it right for him to get chemically castrated? You know what I mean? What if he's like, no, I don't want that. I'm going to get out in 10 years, and I'd like to be able to start a family once I get out.
I say that's more of
Alabama.
Oh, see,
Alabama's
now I would
law
believe what
forcing
Alabama.
sex offenders
Yeah, Alabama,
to get
yeah.
chemically castrated explained. So this is a Vox article.
Alabama just sounds like racism. You know what I mean? Like Alabama racism. The shit rhymes. You know what I mean? Like,
Birmingham.
dude, you know one of the worst places to be back in the 1800s?
This is
Probably
Alabama.
Alabama, bro. Like that's
Or
like,
Mississippi.
Mississippi the
or
worst.
Georgia.
Mississippi the worst.
or Louisiana. Anywhere in that
The
deep
South.
south.
the South.
The
yeah.
South.
Deep
The
South.
South.
Dude, you
Anywhere in
I
the
mean, imagine that shit. I'm walking down the
main
street.
The main ones, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama. Louisiana, yeah.
Dude, did you ever see the movie 12 Years a Slave?
No.
I heard about
I
it.
got through half of the book though, the Audible book.
Oh, y'all gotta see that. The book is probably pretty good too. But
No.
that movie, man, like that joint really gave you a sense of what it was like to be this free man and then to go into slavery. Like, because he had all the rights of a free man and he just ended up in slavery. And like,
And the way they did it was so.
you had to, like, if they sent you to the store, they gave you a tag, like a little tag that shows that you were the property of this owner and I'm just running on an errand for this owner. So like, they gave him the tag and they told him to go to the store and he went, he was like looking around in the woods. He was like, yo, I'm by myself. So he started taking off, you know what I mean? Running through the woods and he ran up on his lynching, right? And there was, 5, 6 white guys on horses and shit. And they were hanging up these 2 black guys. And they told the dude, man, come here, and he checked his tag and was like, you on your way to the store for such and such? I said, yeah. I said, well, you better get going then, boy. And they just continued to lynch these dudes in the background. He just walking by that joint like, oh shit. Like, it's crazy, man. It's a good movie, man. That's a great movie. And the guy, his name, I forget his name.
Ejiofor, right?
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Great.
So this article in Alabama. So the law signed by Republican Governor Ken Inslee on Monday requires people convicted of a sex crime against a child under 13 to begin chemical castration treatment before their release. They must continue the treatment, which consists of drugs designed to dampen a person's sex drive until a court rules they can stop. So this might actually kind of segue into our next article, but just to draw a differentiation, like this actually doesn't have anything to do with vasectomy, right? Or the issue of of reproduction. This is about killing the sex drive, cutting off a person's balls.
You didn't mention the sex offender part in the initial introduction of the article, which
right.
I'm kind of flipped me a little bit. Okay, a sex offender, you've been convicted of having sex with an 11-year-old girl. You got to get what's coming to you. But is it right for them to chemically castrate the guy, like dampening the sex drive?
And they're saying it's to do before the person's release from prison.
Shoot, that's a fine line you walk right there. I'm not sure how I feel.
That's crossing the line because, like I said, that's crossing the lines of humane rights. I mean, period. I mean, you just gonna.
But this guy sexually offended a
like
girl,
I said, majority, like almost 90% of the time, pedophiles or sex offenders like that usually get what's coming to them in jail anyway.
Right, true that. Because they
like,
call them shomos in jail, man.
We know, they got to separate them from the gen pop.
Yeah, because we know, like all cell, they hate pedophiles. They hate child molesters.
I watched this.
They hate them.
Show on YouTube.
That's why they protected Epstein so bad before they killed him.
Yeah,
I watched this show on YouTube. Was it Life After the Penitentiary or a Fresh Out series or something like that? And he was saying that chomos, child molesters in jail, get targeted, dog. As soon as they come in, when you go into jail, you have to show them your rap sheet, basically what you've been arrested for. You know, I've been arrested this many times for selling drugs or doing this. So when you get to the yard, people are gonna ask you, "Hey, what you in here for?" You know what I mean? You have to show them your sheet. If they see anything as far as child molester on that, because as far as prison, you know, this is what they were saying as far as the prison code. I've never been to prison, thank God, but anybody who's molested a child, like all the prisoners in there, no matter if you're the most hardcore gangster, you have a mother, you have a daughter, you have a little sister, you have a little brother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you see guys come in there for molesting children, or raping women, something like that,
you might as well get home, just sign your death certificate.
You're right, I heard they take care of them dudes, man. Like they gotta, like you said, separate them from general population.
They are targets.
They can't just walk around.
No.
That's just, I mean,
and they know it.
They know it, right? Like that is in society, in our society, definitely that is probably worse than murder. Dude.
That's the lowest.
Like I feel like if
at least
like
right
that
up there
is
with
worse than murder, or right up there with it. Like you are taking an innocent person and you are defiling them, a child who has nothing to do with you and your situation, right?
Because there's different levels to murder. Like you could kill somebody in self-defense.
They call them like
murder somebody accidentally.
They call it manslaughter. They got first-degree murder, second-degree, and third-degree murders. There's different levels of murder.
What's the worst murder?
I think
is it first degree?
That's
when you plan to kill somebody and kill them on purpose.
That's premeditated.
Premeditated.
Like I said, he got what is it? They got capital. I think that's like when you're killing a person of an officer, police officer, or a federal agent, things like that. That's capital.
This man C must have been caught up in the system at some time. He ain't telling us.
Well, they
in the system.
Then they got, like I said, they got manslaughter. They got, you know what I'm saying, first degree.
C been watching court TV. That's why I know all that shit.
Watch HBO.
Yeah, they got first degree murder, second degree murder. I can't remember which one was the worst. It was because them shows Snap come in handy.
Snap, my sister's watching.
I was the first degree. Was it? I think it was first degree murder the worst one. I think first degree murder the worst one.
I don't know. To me, child.
Yeah, you're right. Child molestation might be worse.
Like I said, that's a baby. That's a child. They're defenseless.
I mean, okay.
And even to the point where the child is older and you're still manipulating them in a way, like everything that's happened in the Catholic Church, like all that stuff, too far gone, dude. Like that. They all need to be in prison.
Even the stuff that goes on in Hollywood, right?
There's money.
Like with Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. Why are all these Steens? What the fuck is the name of this? Anyway,
them Steens, boy.
Right, them Steens.
Harvey Weinstein. I don't think anything.
Well, they said that he was some. They said that some child actors had accused him of like
Marlon Brando.
Right. What was the guy's name, man? He played in
that dude.
He played in The Burbs with Tom Hanks. He was a young dude. He played in damn it, I cannot remember this white guy's name, man. But he was a little kid when he started out in the 80s, you know. He said that's one of the things you have to do. Like, if you get called upon to be in a situation with this certain executive, you know, you kind of have to go with the flow if you want your career to progress as far as Hollywood goes. You
Yeah,
know?
that's Hollywood.
Women's vet reported some things with that.
There's so like so much
But
stuff in Hollywood that went
crazy,
on.
dude.
It's just we don't even know about. I guarantee you. So much undercover stuff.
I feel like
Joe,
when you
like,
get
so you
to
want this
people
role,
with
huh?
money and power,
Yeah.
like they are become untouchable, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why Clintons and Trumps and Epstein, and they all roll up together in this one big rich person's club where the rules don't apply to us. We're dealing right now with a constitutional crisis where the main argument is whether or not the president had to abide by the same rules as everybody else. That's really what all comes down to in the very end. And and we're seriously debating this, like it should be debated.
Like I mean, honestly, I think the president, if anything, should be held to a much higher standard of
Responsibility,
accountability,
right?
because of the position he's in, because of what that position represents.
We would think so, but corruption and, like you said, power corrupts, and
He's already talking now.
Absolutely.
they're human.
Power.
You
He's
think
throwing that out
Obama?
there.
You think Obama was 100%, you know, angelic while he was
Heck
in
no.
office? I would
No,
not be
definitely
surprised
not.
if 15 years from now, 20 years from now, some allegations come out against Obama. Obama tried to touch my boob once or something like that. You know, yeah, he did. Obama pulled my boob out.
I don't know though, because here's the thing about Obama though. Like, and I'm not gonna say this won't, but my only thing about Obama is that they were criticizing him off some bullshit already.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
y'all remember
criticized him for killing the fly.
You too
You
black.
remember that whole shit? Well, when he rolled up a fucking magazine and killed the fly,
Yeah,
at a
Because
press
that shit
conference
was
and
all over the news.
He smacked that joke.
He capped that joke.
Hey,
though.
hey,
No,
at a
remember
press
he-
conference,
remember
he was
he
like,
had
"Yeah,
that-
so
that
He
tan
put
suit
mustard
on.
on the tan
He had a
suit.
tan suit on.
They were on that shit for
This
a
was fresh.
while.
why were they mad at his tan suit?"
Because
Because it's not presidential.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a dark
it's
blue,
always
or
like I
black,
said, it's
yeah,
always a
dark,
certain
yeah.
attire for a president. They always
True
see
that, you
them
don't
in
really
Yeah,
ever
the
dark.
summer
see a
suit, man,
politician
it's
like
fine.
a tan
They're
suit.
always in a dark, black, navy blue, or black. That's
Yep.
that's the standard color for a person, official diplomat, or presidential, or Senate, Congress. Anybody in the position is always a suit of a navy blue or dark black with some kind of goofy tie.
Obama came out that joint like Nucky Thompson on Boardwalk Empire,
yeah,
right?
he came
That
out with a
fresh suit
fresh. I
on,
seen
man.
the picture of
What's his name?
It was
Nucky Thompson?
Nucky.
Yeah.
I never watched that shit.
Yo, this
Yo.
dude's suits is clean in that
Nucky
joint.
Oh man, he came out that joint. They said a picture of him. He had a tan suit.
Yeah.
And
I remember
fresh.
the joint I saw. He was like walking out of I don't know somewhere. It was like a GQ magazine. He was just like a mid motion.
Mhm.
He like his shoulders popped up. He was just like like and he was clean, man.
He
He
was
was
clean. Man, he just had
But
swag.
everybody went crazy over that
Like I
joint.
said,
The mustard on the burger. They was
and
tripping
Michelle
over that
Obama, I forgot what she wore something. They went crazy about it.
shit. Her arms.
Yeah, her arms are out. That's what it was. They went
Yeah.
crazy about that because she had arms out.
But anyway, I'm not saying
Some
that
white
won't come out.
conservatives.
Power is power, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, Obama didn't seem like he had a whole lot to hide that was outside of big money influences on his decisions.
Not really.
No, but you're right though. Like, in money, like that's kind of the way the judicial system is set up, though, right? Like, okay, yeah, you sped, yeah, you ran the red light, but if you can pay this fine, you can get out. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, you robbed this store, but if you can pay bail, you can get out. You can go
Yeah,
out
you,
of jail.
you can go. The
So
whole
it's
bail
kind of
system.
like, yeah, it's like you can buy your way out of trouble. Like,
Mhm.
and the super rich and affluent, especially somebody like Trump now, like they feel like they're above the law because they can buy their way out of any little petty situation. You know, a $300 ticket is nothing to somebody like Trump.
Yeah.
Whereas if I got hit with a $300 ticket on the way home, like, damn, man, I gotta pay
That
this
hurts.
$300.
I had to pay a $50 parking ticket. I
I
was
was to spend my
angry
license
for a
on
week.
pay this. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Claudine, how are you?
Yeah, man, this one sucks.
Choose the lovely wife Claudine's in the background.
Huh?
But yeah, it's crazy. You know, just talking about Harvey Weinstein and
So I guess
Obama.
we could use this as a segue, like to the other topic.
pedophilia,
We could do,
man.
yeah. So speaking of which, about this whole Alabama situation, whether or not it's okay for pedophiles to be chemically castrated or sex offenders to be chemically castrated, right?
dude, I would
And
not
sex
want to go to
offenders-
Alabama. I don't think I want to go to Alabama.
It said
in
sex
2019.
offenders specifically
No
for
offense, Alabama.
against crimes against children under 13. So pedophilia, essentially.
Right.
So I saw a meme recently, right? And let me. I don't have that joint ready.
It basically is like a box of bullets, and it's like the only solution for dealing with.
And a friend of mine who's actually a pretty like forward-thinking dude posted this meme Where is it?
But do you necessarily disagree with the meme, though?
And that's the question.
Like, would you
all right,
shoot a
boom.
pedophile?
It says, I found a box of pills that cures pedophilia. And it's a box of bullets. Right? It's not pills, it's bullets. So the joke is essentially saying these bullets will cure pedophilia, which essentially
They
means
damn sure will.
the only
Some
thing to
big-ass
cure
bullets.
pedophilia. At first I was like, what are these? Metal suppositories? But like
Oh,
a box of bullets, right?
Put that joint right up there, dog. There's a suppository. Oh, would you ever do a suppository? I think I'd rather just drink something.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah,
drinking
like-
100%.
Just drink something and flush
Exit
yourself
only.
out. I'm not sticking nothing up there, man.
Nah, no.
Unless it's a medical examination.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm going to tense up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even then, he'd be like, okay, relax, unclench. I'm like, yo, I can't, man, I can't.
I am relaxed. So relax, I am.
But no, you know we're about at that age where we gotta get that. You gotta get that. Yeah, you gotta get that exam, man.
Damn, man.
You
I
know,
don't know about it.
reaching them 40s, bro. Gotta do it.
Yeah, don't.
Right. The fucking glove.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
no!
okay.
So they got some Vaseline with 2 fingers on that.
Yeah,
joint?
pretty much.
Right.
Relax. Anyway,
Oh.
so the meme essentially saying like, dude, the only cure for a pedophile is killing him, right? And this is not the first time I've seen like a meme or a joke like this. I mean, a lot of it's on YouTube and like Joe Rogan comments. I don't know, we're talking about something at some point, and there was a whole thread of comments about like the only cure for that is a noose or a bullet or a gun or yada yada yada, right? So the question really comes down to like, one, is that true? Two, like, is that okay? Like, as forward-thinking, intellectual brothers like ourselves, you know, is this something that we would like indubitably, you know, condone, right? Or essentially like that's really it.
Me personally, I wouldn't go as far as doing that chemical castration. I wouldn't do that because honestly, I'd just let him have what's coming to him.
In the prison.
You're talking about street justice.
Yeah, I just let nature take its course with that.
So that would be like the chemical castration is too far because it makes it like a federal law versus you're okay with somebody just killing a pedophile on
Just shanking him at lunch.
I mean, like I say, because one, that a pedophile, you don't have to kill him. They'll get what's coming to them.
And here's
So
another
you don't
question.
have to step over rights to where step over the humane part of it, because that's what it comes out like.
But bro, this is
humane.
Alabama. Okay, they've been doing that shit for hundreds of years.
I'm
Stepping
sure
on
they
the
are.
rights,
I'm
dog.
sure
And I
they
guarantee,
Is it
stepping
Alabama where they keep shooting the sign for Emmett Till?
Yeah.
and I guarantee
Yeah,
a lot of those prisoners, a large percentage of that prisoner population is black men.
Yeah, I know they are.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
But-
another distinction I want to make is like one distinction that there's a difference between a pedophile and an offending pedophile, right? Or a non-offending pedophile and an offending pedophile.
Is there a difference?
Is
a pedophile somebody who just hasn't got caught? Or a
definitionally
non-offending
there's
pedophile?
Or someone who has like
definitionally there is a person who just has pornography versus a person who actually goes after people.
Look at this 8-year-old. Oh my god. What?
Okay.
Right.
So like,
Look at the dots.
all right, that's weird.
It is.
So
And you know the great thing is, you have a daughter, right?
I do.
Now,
And a son.
say you heard something about, God forbid this ever happens, but say you heard something about some dude touching your daughter in an inappropriate way. The first thing you're gonna think is, D, where's the strap? Dog?
I killed that.
Bring the strap over here. I'm going to holler at this dude.
I'm morally obligated to.
I might not shoot you in the head, but I'm a pistol whip the shit out of you.
Yeah, but one thing I say, now we're talking about that part of it. I said we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, justice in our own hands as far as if he's not even locked up yet. The system hasn't got to him.
Well, here's the thing. Let me make this distinction. Let me define this. By non-offending pedophile, by non-offending, I mean a person who hasn't, not just whether or not they've been caught, a person who hasn't offended, right? And you could say possession of pornography is offending. Well, I'm going to draw the line with offending as far as having
Physically acting on your
acting on these inclinations, right? So I'm just saying that's the line I'm drawing.
Fair fine line. But that's a fine line, though. If I go over C's house and C has a box full of child porn, I might not ever holler at C again, man. I'd be like, dude, like,
Yeah.
you need to talk to somebody,
like,
man.
Bro, I give you permission to put my lights out,
Bro, like, I mean,
like I said, that is a sickness.
like, what if you didn't actually film it, but you just had videos of child porn in there that you got off the
Kill
internet
me,
or something?
dog.
I'd be like, what?
It killed me, bro.
Something's wrong with you. That's the first thing I would think about that person. Something's wrong with you. You might not necessarily need to be shot, but
It killed me, bro.
don't let them around any schools. You can't go to the school.
No, right. Like,
No.
and here's the thing, like, so,
We let them come to barbecue.
Mhm.
Bobby, so see, you're gonna say something about like the whole.
You're not
No,
even
the-
allowed
the-
in my house.
Now the thing is, we were talking about that. We were talking about the humane part of it.
Right.
I would say when it comes along the lines of if he's been caught by the system already, if he's already on locked down and tried for it and whatnot. But then before he gets that, I say the bullets. Okay, that's a different line. And then that's where I say, like, bro, you took my daughter. Like, yo, no, I mean, I'm
Right.
gunning for him. Like I said, he's dead on sight.
Like if you touch somebody, like if a person offends, again,
Yeah, he's done.
if the person offends,
But if he hasn't been
like
caught in the
there's, I
system,
feel like there's a, you're right, there's a fine line, but it's also defined. Like if the person offends, that person needs to be locked away. That person needs
lock
to be
him
put
down.
away.
I mean, that's it.
And I don't know if I'm as far as like capital punishment, because capital punishment, I have a whole thing about that where like 1% wrong. Although if they have 1% wrong, which we've seen recently is way more than 1%, then that's way too much. But like that person definitely needs to be put away. He needs to be restrained and can't be around people to offend again. That person needs to be locked up. But like if the person is not an offender and say definitely like having that material makes an industry for it, which is an issue and that needs to be reported. But at the same time, I wouldn't say, I feel weird saying that you should have some kind of consequence for possession, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't say lock him away because he possesses material.
I find out what's wrong with him.
I know. Like that's the
I guess
real.
because he hasn't, technically he hasn't broken any laws,
But
right?
then again,
Aside from the
but then
possession.
again, like I said, he hasn't technically no, because the privacy of his own home.
Is possessing
But-
is possessing cocaine worse than possessing child pornography?
Hell no.
Because it should be similar.
Cocaine's
punishments, right?
cocaine. While it does create an industry, like there won't be. If there wasn't a
Either
black
way,
market
both can lead to
that people were buying, then the black market
Either
wouldn't
way,
exist.
both can lead
Same
to
with child
either
pornography.
way, both can lead to mass hysteria. You can
Yeah.
think about it. Child pornography, it can lead to mass hysteria. Serial pedophilia.
It's a sorrel.
Yeah, serial. I'm trying to get it out. But like I said, you got
Wait,
cocaine.
how do you mean serial pedophilia? What do you
Like I
mean?
said, I'm saying-
Like, do you mean possession can lead to serial pedophilia?
Yeah, it can lead because, like I said, all that stuff is just build up. They can build that stuff up and just build it. The more they look at it, like I said, if you look at anything, the more you look at something, the more it'll just build up in your mind. The more you look at it, the more you, and then eventually you want to act on it.
So it's like you build up a
It's
desire
you're
for
building
that
the
thing.
desire is being built up. The desire is being molded. And
But
it's
is it
being
like
built up.
fair to like preempt that
I like
person's
said-
offense?
I'd probably nip it in the bud before it becomes something serious and he acts on it. You know what I'm saying? I'd give some help, have somebody,
What about the government?
The government, like I said, they got institutions and stuff like that. Not put them in some kind of, class, or put them in some kind of class, or put them in some kind of
That was another thing I heard.
help or whatever. They
I
got
don't know,
So,
because
I
how
heard
can you
that-
ensure that he attends that class so that he gets the help that he
they
needs.
got
heard
ways,
that-
they got ways to do that. They
So
have somebody
I'm bringing all this up because I saw this meme reminded me of a podcast I listened to, Psychologist in Seattle or something.
Mhm.
And so this guy had like a letter from a pedophile, and this guy's an actual like clinical psychologist, and he was talking about how like in the letter the guy was saying he can't like go to like he was saying he wasn't able to go to a therapist or something to talk about this and try to sort this out because by doing that he's reported, and in the reporting then the whole process starts, right?
But
So it's like you, and then, yeah, that's essentially it. He's like, so there's other people out there, people who don't offend, who may have possession or who may have art or whatever, but they don't offend. But if they wanted help, how can they get help if as soon as if they are looking for help, they are immediately in the system of making them a target, putting them on a list,
which I kind of
limiting their
should
options.
Be in the system. I mean, if you're in possession of child porn, disclaimer, I don't understand pedophilia or the want to have child pornography.
No.
But at the same time, I don't think it's unfair to put a non-offending pedophile in the system because he could possibly offend. Maybe that leads to what Mumbles was saying with the mass hysteria of it. But yeah. I mean, I think it's totally fair to put them in the system. You need to be red flagged. I mean, they do the shit with your credit. You know what I mean? Like they do it with
that's a good point.
The banking system does it, so why not?
Too many bad decisions on your purchases.
If you have a large collection of child pornography and child pictures, you should be in the system. Goddammit! Like I applaud you for reaching out for help, going in for help. It's almost like the Joker, right? How do I get my pills? Like he still wanted to take his pills. He wanted help, but goddammit, you should be red flagged. You should not be allowed to work with kids, be around kids. There should be stiff penalties for somebody being caught with. There should be stiff penalties for non-offending pedophiles. There should be stiffer penalties for actual acting pedophiles that have committed crimes. I mean, it is a fine line though, because
the reason I brought up that point was because in a way it makes it a cyclical situation where they won't go to seek for help because they'll just be red flagged.
True.
But do we want them to go look for help?
Yes. Yes.
But they won't because they're going to be red flagged. As
a person who is disgusted by pedophilia, non-offending and offending, I believe you should be red flagged regardless. Okay, if you're known to have any type of child pornographic material,
related, any of that,
right? You should definitely be reported. You should be put on a list. Maybe they should have two lists, an offending and a non-offending. But you know, back to C's point with the street justice, like I don't think at the end of the day it would matter. Like, and honestly, like if you have a father of a girl or a son, right, and a man takes advantage of your daughter, right, it doesn't matter what age she is. I think that man would feel like I need to go handle this guy. I mean, she could be 13, she could be 23, right? If a person violates her in a sexual way, you're gonna feel like I want to fuck this dude up.
Yeah,
you know, like so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think to the average man, to the straightforward thinking man, there's no difference between offending and non-offending. Like it's sick and it's disgusting, and you should definitely be red flagged, put on the list. If you get caught with any kind of child pornography, I don't care if it's offending or non-offending. You should not be allowed near a school.
Right.
You should have to stay a mile away from any type of school, anything like that. Your job, you should not be allowed to work around kids. I mean, is a non-offending pedophile a danger to society?
Well,
because
not
they haven't
yet
done anything.
Right, like, and that's the thing. Like, are these thought crimes? We start charging people for thought crimes. When you think about murdering somebody, right? You really hate a person. You think about it. Okay, we got to get him.
If we're talking about chemical castration for Alabama prisoners infringing on your rights,
even there, they have more of a case to do that in my mind because they have offended.
True.
And like, if they have that kind of inclination and they've already given into it, then in a way it's like, but again, it's like, how far do our rights extend, or how far does it before we start violating personal rights? You know,
and thought policing. That's a crazy thought.
And I think that's the biggest dilemma. That's the biggest like issue with this whole debate. It's like, how far are we willing to go, and at what point do we start extending this to other things? And I'm not saying that.
Don't worry, we're all going to be microchipped in the future. Maybe not this generation, generations to come. Well, they'll be microchipped, and they'll be able to monitor your thoughts. Right. They're going to put a microchip right in your scrotum.
Yep.
And they're going to be able to.
They're like, oh, we got a reading.
Yep.
Send them in.
Got an impure thought. Bring them in.
Yep. But
wow.
All in all, man, like I don't know. I was listening to this podcast and I saw this meme and I was like, man, that shit is like, imagine being in that situation.
I
That would
couldn't
be
because
horrifying.
I would never.
It would be horrifying. Like,
I would.
how
never
do you
be a
not off
pedophile.
yourself?
Just sick. Just sick.
But sickness implies a cure. There's no cure for this, as far as we know, because first off, they can't go to get help.
That's it. Yeah.
Because they go to get help, they're in the system, their lives are ruined, right? If your job finds out that you have this,
You're fired.
you're fired. Like, it doesn't matter. They'll find another reason to fire you if it's not for this. They'll be like, oh no, he used so many staples, we can't keep him here.
Because it's taboo. It's like
It is.
It's a child. Everybody can relate to children, especially people that have children and are parents. I mean, everybody has young
can't
children in their
fucking
life. You
even
got nieces,
imagine that.
nephews, you got sons, daughters. I mean, you
Okay,
see kids, you
everybody-
got friends with kids.
I said, my niece
And it's like, I couldn't imagine somebody physically violating, as far as sexually, even physically, a child, man. It's a fucking kid. You know what I mean? So,
I said, anybody.
It's
my
a-
there
niece and
has to be
nephew-
some kind of stiff punishment. That just has to be, bro. It's taboo. You don't.
I
That's
say,
just something
if
you
try
don't
to take
do.
if you try to take the childhood away from a child doing that, it's like you take their life, you take the essence of the child. I mean, you
Take their
damage them. You
ability
start
to be free and
them.
innocent.
I mean, you take the innocence away by taking their
You just
childhood
don't.
away. So I would say, you take their childhood away, you take your life. You take your adulthood away. I'd just say lock him down for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say go around doing that. I'd just say let him live with that thought.
Like, keep them locked. Like, a life sentence for me on the way for an offending person is not too far, right? For a life sentence for me, for a person who's offended, a child under, I don't know, it doesn't matter, dude. A child, child, like, then it's like a life sentence for me is not too far fetched. But my biggest issue is the person who's a non-offender. Like, at what point do we start? Like, it's a tricky place to be.
That
for-
non-offender you're talking about. What? I might
Hypothetically?
I might be a little slow, but like non-offender. Just say that one more time. What do you consider a non-offender? Just somebody who has just pornography, just thinking about it.
So a person who may have pornography either, and let me make the extension from like maybe photographs, which would be the market, right? That would be the black market. That would be feeding a black market versus art, right? Versus art, which is victimizes nothing and essentially victimizes nothing, but it still creates a market for that art, but there's no victim for that, right? So say this person has, I don't know, to say it's both is actually two cases, but still, let's say the person has both, right? And that, so they're feeding the black market, but they haven't, up to this point, gone, right, to offend or to do anything nasty to a child, and then also at the same time, it's like, say the person, my question is, should the person be able to seek help without being,
Without the blowback.
without like, losing their livelihood?
That's kind of hard because, and obviously,
Because
they're dealing with the
any
way
leakage of this is essentially losing your livelihood
the
and
way
your
this
social standing.
I say the way this society is when it comes to that specific topic,
It's
almost
very
impossible.
black and white. Yeah.
It's almost impossible for him to kind of reach out for something like that because that's something that's that's hated upon right there. I mean, you even have any thoughts about it, you're gonna get some backlash behind it. You're gonna have a lot of folks talking about you, and then next thing you know, it gets out there, and then there you are. You got a reputation without even doing
And
it.
the next thing you know, you got a shiv between your ribs while you're in the streets and whatnot.
You
See on that street justice.
know what I'm saying?
It's a nuance.
By
In
the
a
way,
way, you let them know
I
if it's a
don't-
person's life in danger.
So, honestly, you're probably around that one. It would be kind of hard for somebody to really, reach out for that. So, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's going to be real hard, hella hard to do that because that's a very sensitive topic right there.
It's nuanced, right? Because if the guy comes into the office and he's saying, "Hey, I have a problem. I have child pornography. I got child pictures. I'm seeking help."
Yeah, you have to trust somebody real hard.
You talking about a therapist's office or
Right.
like a psychologist?
Now, say he leaves that therapist's office and walks past the elementary school. right, or something like that, should he not be put on a list once he leaves that office? Because he's a danger to society. He admittedly is a danger to children in society because he's having these thoughts. I understand the thought about thought policing, because you can't lock somebody up for thinking a certain thing, right? Because that endangers all of us. I mean, we
all of us got some crazy thinking. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if I think about punching
yourself, I ain't never had crazy thought in my life.
Well, definitely not about pedophilia, obviously. But if I think about punching Trump in the balls, you know what I mean?
Like dragon punch style. Like,
right. Are they gonna be able to come in my house and kick my door in and be like, hey, you gotta? Are they gonna be able to ticket me for thinking this thought? You know, that's kind of crossing the line. It's nuanced, man. I don't know.
But honestly, that right there.
Or thinking about killing somebody. Have I broken the law? Have I thought about killing somebody?
I wouldn't. Like I said again, based on the way the society act, or the way the justice in the society is, you're not going to be held liable. You're not going to be held accountable unless you actually do. Thoughts, you can't control those. Everybody's gonna have some crazy off the wall thought, even those kind of.
And I think this
thoughts.
is Juice's point is unless it comes to pedophilia, unless it comes to child.
Like I said, if that happens,
you can think about killing somebody, but you haven't broken a law, so you're not going to get in trouble for it.
No, I mean you can.
But if you think about,
like I said, if you do it and you think about it and you do it, it's premeditated thing because you thought about it. But it's like everybody can think about killing somebody. We all think about putting a knife in somebody's back. You know what I'm saying?
No, we all don't see.
Well,
right?
I have. I get it.
Back you would have put a knife.
No, but I mean,
shaving somebody.
But like I say, in this particular sick case,
you
know, there are folks who have those kind of sick thoughts. But the way the society runs, as far as justice goes, they can have thoughts all they want to, but they're not going to do anything unless he actually makes an attempt to carry it out.
Right.
So thought, you can't do nothing about that. You know
I think you're just saying, like, is it fair to put them on a list? You know what I mean?
Like I said, it won't happen.
Because you're not being put on a list for thinking about shooting somebody, but you're being put on a list for thinking about this naked
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't.
4-year-old girl.
Like I said,
those thoughts.
I get disgusting, man. I'm sorry. I think coming from somebody who doesn't understand pedophilia, it's hard to have sympathy for somebody who even thinks about it. You know what I mean? I don't think Juice is having sympathy about the pedophile. It's about the point of, is it fair to criminalize them for thinking something? You know what I mean? Because that leads to other avenues. And
yeah, my thing is, as far as, like I said, thoughts, man, thoughts are crazy, man. But like I said, I think the point of no return is when you start acting on them. Yeah, so we can have those thoughts, but like you said, that's when it comes to pedophilia. It's a sick thing anyway, but you know, people. I mean, everybody has sick thoughts at one point in time in their life. Okay. But it can be any kind of thing, but pedophilia.
But they shouldn't. So you're saying that
if that's it, because we can't determine thought process or how long they be thinking. We can't determine. We don't know what the thought processes is. We don't know where the thoughts come from or how they get there. But
when they microchip your balls, they'll be able to monitor all this.
They're like, oh, we got a spike.
Yep. So we got a hit.
That goes in. But like I said, as far as that goes, you can't do nothing about the thoughts. You just can't.
So my whole I don't have a solid position on this, but like.
But I mean, cut you off. I'm sorry about that. But the other part of your statement was when they try to seek help. I think that's what you're asking. If they seeking help about it, I show a little empathy on that one. I said, if they're trying to take the step to, you know what I'm saying, make it known that this is what's going on in my head, I wouldn't put them on a list just yet.
I would say, like, you don't want to wait for them to offend,
no,
right?
You don't want to, but if they take that necessary step to put it out there like that, to talk to somebody that they feel trustworthy to hold that information, because it's supposed to be confidential anyway.
It is, right. It is supposed to be. And that's the thing. They have gone outside of that confidentiality to report in the past that's happened.
Right. So then he should be held accountable for that, because it's strictly
confidential. So should there be a law against revealing this?
Yeah, because I think there should be.
I don't know, though.
I think morality
I'd be like, hold on, though.
Yeah, morality. Yeah,
and not just legality. Like,
but morality,
legally you can't disclose, but morally, I probably should, because I have a kid.
Yeah, if you're a doctor,
there should be some gray areas for that person to make a moral decision.
Yeah, well, like I said, but I think if he does take that necessary step to come out there and talk to somebody who he's trustworthy to hold what's going on with him and keep it between him and whoever, if he takes that necessary step to make it known, then I wouldn't put him on the list just yet. I wouldn't go that far just yet.
I might empathize with the fact that he's putting a foot forward and trying to get out ahead of the situation, but sympathize, no. I'm not a sympathizer. You're disgusting, and something's wrong with you.
I show a little empathy on that part there, because if you're making
It's
that,
like you're a monster.
I mean, come on,
despicable.
You should burn in hell.
I mean, like I said,
Not necessarily, but if
I
a
don't
guy
think burning
has a portfolio, like just pages and pages of child
there's something
porn,
wrong with him. I mean, he been
I
building
mean-
it, then that's a problem.
something's wrong with this guy. It's just hard to sympathize with you if you're coming to me and admitting, hey, I have this problem. I've been collecting child porn for the last 10 years, and I've got, all these pictures and these.
Like, really?
I'm having these thoughts about this.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
All
Right.
right, here's another
Like,
example,
hold on a
right?
minute.
It's like I'm not going to sympathize
You
with
bet
you.
not
I might
one-
empathize with the fact that you're trying to get out ahead of it, but I'm not sympathizing with you at all,
hold on.
bro.
Okay, I'll make this a note. Hold on.
All right,
just a
so-
second, we can
Punch
go
you in
on.
your face.
I kind of feel like I'm kind of like with both of you guys on this show, right? Like I feel like there should be an avenue for them to seek help, but at the same time, just because you have a psychologist, I think that the psychologist should be able to place markers to determine the progress, or some kind of way. There should be something set up to determine a progress,
If the person's
or-
actually getting better.
right? Or a way to mark this person's
I can see.
Uh,
I can see
inclination to descend into a state of violation, right?
Right.
If you start hurting kids, then
Man, if you,
that can't be
yeah.
warranted. We can't allow that, right?
Yeah, if
And
you-
we have to protect that from going that far. Now, if that person wants to start, because the whole thing is like, if they don't seek help, then that becomes a matter of time situation. Then that
It's
just
like a ticking
becomes
time bomb.
it's exactly what I was exactly about to say. It's a ticking time bomb situation. If they can't seek help, then it's literally just a matter of time. So
At
it's
that
like
point,
at
then
what
I
point?
take action. Then
Okay.
that's important.
Flip the script though. Say there's a guy who's totally away from pedophilia, right?
Mhm.
Say there's a guy who's been collecting ammunition and weapons for the last 5 years, and he comes in and admits, "Hey man, look, I've been collecting ammunition and weapons. I have everything
like,
set
yo.
up. I'm gonna go in this mall and I'm just gonna start spraying people down. I don't care who's there. I'm just gonna shoot you. And I'm trying to seek help for this. I need to." You would criminalize the shit out of that guy. You'd be like, "Yo, boop boop boop. FBI, this dude's right here. He's
Well, I
got
don't know.
mild
Like,
weapons
I
in
don't
his-"
know if a psychiatrist.
You're not gonna be like, "Okay,
a
well, you
person-
tried to get out in front of it. I sympathize with you for thinking about killing all these innocent people.
But
You know,
shouldn't
I'm
do
going to
that.
get you help, and I'm going to give you a progress report." I mean,
Yeah,
you'd be like, "Yo, lock
you
this
should have
dude
to
up."
report them, right?
I would.
If you have something like that, you
Right.
should have to report
Right. So
that.
does the confidentiality come into it then?
No, I would say no. You got to let people know.
Right,
man.
right,
It's crazy.
right.
So, like, same thing with, like, a pedophile. So,
It's
here's another
nuanced.
crazy scenario I just thought about, because... have you ever seen Brightburn?
No,
I
but
heard
I heard
about
that one was like a Superman that's
Yeah,
bad.
some
It's like
kind of-
scary
yeah,
kid.
I hated it,
Yeah.
man.
I heard it was whack, but the
It
concept,
wasn't whack.
whack
The
to me.
concept was great,
right?
but
Like a Superman who was like,
here's like, for me, I am a comic fan, and I like a happy ending, damn it. That shit ain't got no fucking happy ending.
and that's
So
one
it's-
thing.
and that's what loses me. I can't.
It's one thing I liked about Rook. I'm sorry, about DC's version of Superman with Henry Cavill. What's his name, right? Is like Superman would be a scary figure, right? Like if Superman existed in this world right here, he'd be scary. I mean, people would be worshiping him as a god. Like
He would
this
essentially
guy
be a
can
god,
come
yeah.
down and do these godlike things, and we can't control him. So what's to stop him from blowing up the building I'm in? What's to stop him from ripping the roof off the
If
White
he just
House?
says,
And
"I'm president now,"
Right.
There's nothing.
How can you stop
Nobody can do to.
he would be a
shoot
scary
him.
figure. You'd be scared of him. I'm not sure what this dude is going to do, you know? There'd be a whole religion that starts. If there was a Superman, there'd be a whole religion that started.
Yeah. So
And you
like,
couldn't help but believe because you're seeing it with your eyes.
do you guys mind if I spoil Brightburn, like a small piece?
No, it's
I'm
on
not
Netflix.
gonna
I might watch it. I might
on
maybe not check it
Netflix?
out. I think so. I might
I
saw
got
it
it
at
at
the Red
Redbox.
Box. Yeah, I might
Yeah.
saw it at the Red Box. Right.
So there's this one scene where, they underneath the kid's bed, right? They find like a folder, and mom's cleaning whatever. She finds a folder full of stuff, and on top is like
It's
a girl,
laser burning people and shit.
girl like tits and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. And then turn next page, and it's like entrails. You turn the next page, it's like guts and bones, and then you turn the next page, and it's just like, okay, so this kid is, I don't know if he's getting off to this shit, but he is affixed to
Right, jerk
guts
off.
and like entrails and people's insides and gore, and that's what's getting this kid off.
Does she know he has Superman-like powers at the time when she finds this stuff?
I think no. At that point, that's when they're starting to realize, oh, he might like there's something off. They're not sure if that's powers, how strong
While
he is.
we're on the subject,
He's strong,
how
but
the
he's
fuck
not.
did he get the powers?
Oh,
is he
well,
alien? Is it like a
He's
Superman?
it's Superman situation. Alien. But the only difference really is that he was sent to Earth to conquer it. And so they have this ship in the barn, and so they raise him like a regular kid. And then when he's like 13 or 15, or like 12
What, does he
or
get
13,
triggered or something?
yeah, like this pulse starts coming from the ship, and so this normal kid just starts having like crazy visions, and he's like starts tripping. He's getting like the signals like kill them all in his head.
Concept is dope. Does
And
he take
then-
over the world at the end?
I mean, you see the starts of it.
Does it have any cool parts?
I
Like,
mean,
straight
it's
up
got
like,
a
oh, shit.
bunch of like crazy. Dude, the fucking movie is crazy. Like, I'm not
I
gonna.
might watch that, Joe.
Like-
I might check it out tonight on the way home.
Like cinematically, that was a good watch. I just like for me, like I don't know. My moral compass is fucking delicate, man. Like I'm like, yo, that's fucked up. How do you do that to that person? You can't do that, man. Like that's not okay. Then nobody here deserves any of this. These are innocent people,
Right.
right?
So he goes ham on somebody.
Just everybody.
Oh, I might
And
see
none of
that.
them deserve any. They're just normal people trying to live a happy
So
life.
it's like
with their
Superman,
son.
like he punches you up into the sky, or like he punches you and your chest explodes. and shit?
Type shit, yeah.
Oh wow, I might need to check that joint out. Is it rated R?
Yeah.
I might need to
Better
check that
be.
joint. I'm gonna check it out on the way
That
home.
would be, I think.
It's just like it's so fucked up,
Right.
man. It's a good
I heard the concept was good. I just heard the movie's a little
like I wouldn't watch it twice, but I watched it once and I was like I was affixed, like eyes wide the whole time. But anyway, back to the topic. So the question is, what if like a person has that kind of situation? They're into gore, they're into like it's a question, how long until they start ripping a person apart?
Mhm.
How long do we have a Jack the Ripper on our hands?
I want to start cutting people up in the shed and whatnot.
Right. So
You never know.
and here's the thing, the answer is that most people that we know of who have these kind of fantasies, because that's not a far-fetched thing. It's actually a thing that people have in our world. You don't know who has it, but there's a genre out there for that. And as far as we know, of course you have some offenders, but it's not equivalent to what we have people who've been arrested or reported or have killed or done any of that stuff. A lot of killings are crimes of passion. Like a lot of killings are, very few are from serial killers, and those ones have to have a mixture of, as far as we know, have to have a mixture of some kind of psychopathy, right, or psychopathy where they
Most of us
don't relate to humans, right?
Most
So
of
there's a
us
difference between
It's
not
all
relating
mental.
to humans or other people or feeling their pain or being empathetic versus having a particular
Like the
thing.
Manson family.
So like when I get off work, I'm thinking, man, I can't wait till I get home, man, take a shower, play this PS4, crack a brew, and chill. And then there's other dudes like, man, I can't wait till I get off work. I'm gonna go home, spread these guts out on my table, and then I'm gonna just string them around me like necklaces and whatnot. And I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna cut this motherfucker up in my
Straight the
shed.
shit around the
Right,
neck.
so I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Something's
gonna
wrong with this
wear
motherfucker.
this skin.
Right, I can't wait to put
Like, what
this
was that, the
skin on.
Hannibal
Like,
Lecter shit?
you be in that joint like
They
Joker
wearing
with
the
his skin
and
on and shit. This
He's
motherfucker
like-
Joker was in that joint like.
What was that
Right.
shit, man?
I
Like,
don't
why
know.
would he keep doing that, Joe?
I'm gonna put some kidneys on the plate.
Right, man. I can't wait to go home and heat these kidneys up. Cause I'm gonna put these kidneys in the microwave.
And kidney fillet, man. Kidney fillet mignon.
All right, so to bring this back around full circle, I don't know if y'all want to wrap this up. So I mean, are we
Oh, yeah,
at the
I'm-
hour mark?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the meme. It's the bullets. A box of pills for what is one idea you had to fix that meme? Like if, instead of the box of bullets to fix pedophilia, what would you put there? A
To
Bible?
fix pedophilia?
Would you put a Bible there? Would you put a doctor there? Would you put a psychologist, a therapist?
Serious prayer. That's what they're gonna show.
I mean, or do you agree with the bullet? Would you put a jail cell in the meme? So the meme was a box of bullets, and the title above says, "I found a box of pills that will fix pedophilia."
Right.
And it was a box of bullets. So what would you put in that meme to fix pedophilia? Or would you stick with the box of bullets?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't stick with the box of bullets, man. Like,
I might not
well,
either.
first off, just to have a for a joke, I get it. It's not that funny.
Yeah.
But like, for a solution for pedophilia, like the only real thing is to have a system in place, man. If they can get help, allow them to live a normal life where they're rewarded for not offending.
Right. And at least seeking the help. There's something to be said for seeking the help.
At least that.
I do understand. So I would empathize. I wouldn't sympathize. Though. What about you, Steve? What would you put there?
Well,
see, that's where I put a box of M&M's in as well.
man, well,
Eat some of this candy and chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Except it's cyanide.
Some arsenic Skittles or something.
You see a poison them.
Say these Skittles taste funny.
What was that joint called on Game of Thrones? Sweet Sleep? You put that sweet sleep on them, guys.
Sweet sleep on there. No, like I said, I can emphasize with it as long as they get the help, man. Like I said, if you make that stuff to try to change it, get if you know it's there, and you make the help to get it. Like I said, I'll give you the benefit of that on that one.
But if you offend, it's open season. Then
I keep them on the watch though.
Yeah,
I think a Bible's fair to put there, a Quran, maybe the Book of Law, as far as putting them under the watch. I might even stick with the box of bullets, man, because, like you said, it was meant to be humorous. But at the same time, like, you come for me and mine, and you mess with one of the kids that I know, you might have to catch some lead. I mean,
you're gonna have to. Bro.
It's disgusting, and for people who don't engage in that type of activity, it's hard to sympathize with somebody who thinks about engaging, even if you haven't offended, let alone offended. If you offended, go to jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's open season.
It's like, dude,
you're getting your head knocked off.
All right, you need help. You know, which it's like R. Kelly, man. Like, what the hell you need to sleep with 16-year-old girls for? You're R. Kelly. Like, you can't get a 26-year-old.
Money, just horny.
That's all you need. Money.
Maybe it's just power and the ability. I can do this thing. I can do it.
That's what it was.
This nigga couldn't read.
I mean, you imagine at an R. Kelly concert, they throwing their drawers up on the stage. You know what I mean?
He'd be like,
right.
These are old.
He said, 32. This shit.
It's like, 16.
68.
Who threw these?
I want to pee on you.
Pee on you.
Yeah, like Dave Chappelle said, yo, 16 is old enough to decide, but I want to get pissed on, okay? Right.
No, they just walk up to him.
Yeah, man, I don't know how I would fix it, but
okay, I don't know.
any non-offending pedophiles,
I can't read.
let alone pedophiles, non-offending pedophiles, seek help, man. It's disgusting. Like, come on, man, grow up.
Yeah.
There's too many women out there for you to be focused on. Too many women out there for you to be focused on 13-year-old girls or something like that. You know what I mean?
Grown man.
Even non-offending, like, you know how much porn is out there. You don't need child's porn, man. You know. But back to, you know, real quick. There's people in high up positions of authority as far as religious and political and business who have offended and who haven't been caught.
Yeah.
And who perpetuate the system of pedophilia.
They just get moved around. They're protected by their system they're in.
Like you was talking about with the black market, child sex trafficking. It wouldn't happen if there wasn't a black market for it. So somebody's
buying,
engaging
somebody's
in this. Right. So
and they're underground. And we don't know about their proclivity, right? Or their, we don't know about their honesty. Because here's the thing. You have people who want to help, but there's a vast majority more who don't give a fuck.
And who will threaten you if you seek help because you could possibly out them as, you know, on the verge of pedophilia. Or,
that's why they killed Epstein.
Oh yeah, that whole situation's fishy, man. You know what I mean? Dude was in jail.
They killed Mike Epstein.
Right, and you locked him up. The whole situation was fishy. But I heard the guards that were on duty at the time were under indictment or something like that.
It said they pled not guilty.
Yeah, right. And the whole situation is filthy. That dude had dirt on a lot of people, and he could have outed a lot of people. And as we discussed earlier in the cast,
Prince. I want to say the wrong Prince. Some British Prince. Not Prince Harry.
I thought
Prince
you were talking about Prince. I was like, oh, no, please don't tell me. I was like, no.
Not Purple Prince. Prince Philip, I want to say. Anyway, one of the British princes, good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, did an interview recently. And he's got pictures with, like, underage girls. And the girl already came out. She was one of the ones who were in the testimony saying that, oh, she slept with this guy, the prince, saying who he was, and they have a picture with him, and he was like, and she was described the scene where like they were dancing together, and like he was sweating profusely, and this nigga's response was like, that couldn't have been me. She was wrong, and the reporter was like, why is that? It's like, because during that time period in my life, due to a medical condition, I couldn't sweat. And this thing was dead ass serious, man. And the whole thing was just like,
maybe they just feel like whatever they spew out of their mouth will be believed. They have the money to make it.
They got the power, the money, the power. You don't. When you have power and money, you don't have to have a good lie. Just say it wasn't me.
And you can afford the court cases. You can afford the lawyers. You can afford to ride through the judicial system and come out on the other end. You know.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I mean, you know, I don't get it altogether. Pedophilia is a touchy subject, and you know. Got to handle these guys in society as far as letting them live their lives or locking them down, whatever, or dealing with them with a box of bullets. So,
box of bullets. Wait,
yeah.
Do you want to do the other story or?
We can save it till next time if you want to. Talking about Colin Kaepernick. Well, I guess we can mention real quick. I mean, might as well, because by the time we come to the next cast, it'll be like 3-4 weeks from now, and then it'll be old news.
He'll be signed to the Redskins.
Colin Kaepernick had a... Hey, stop it. Everybody's picking on the Redskins because we suck. Okay, so Colin Kaepernick had a workout recently. We all know Colin Kaepernick was the NFL quarterback who took a stand as far as protesting against police violence back in 2016, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's during that time where all these black people were getting killed in police custody. Sandra Bland. I always forget the guy's name in Minnesota with the cop in the
Crawford.
No, man. Remember the guy shot him through the he told the cop he had a gun.
Oh,
Philando Castile.
Yeah, Philando Castile.
That was the worst one. I mean, from all the ones that were, because it seemed like for like a year,
I don't
man.
know,
That's
that
all we were
John
hearing
Crawford
about.
jump, man. They called the police. He was walking around with a Walmart gun, and the cop shot him from around the corner. Just didn't even know what was going on.
Right. I guess a mistaken weapon could, you can mistake a weapon for a real weapon, but some cops shoot first and ask questions later. And they could have asked the young man, was that gun real, or, I know cops have a dangerous job, police have a dangerous job.
But they signed up for it. Anyway, yeah.
So Colin Kaepernick had a workout. There was a tip-taff with the NFL. They impromptu scheduled a workout for Colin Kaepernick after a 3-year hiatus, 3 years of blackballing him from any roster in NFL, not even giving him a chance to make a team, bringing him into training camp. They set up a workout for him, and Colin Kaepernick's team was arguing that it was all on the NFL's ground, all on their rules. So they were going to record the workout, they were going to set where the workout was, they were going to schedule representatives from all of the teams to show up to this workout, and everything was scheduled. Colin Kaepernick's team's argument was that they were going to edit the film of the workout in a way where they were going to show Colin Kaepernick's worst attributes to the teams to not give him a fair chance to be signed, right? So they were going to edit in a way that looks like he sucks, because they were going to send the film of the workout to the teams. So before they sent the film out, Colin Kaepernick's team was saying, well, they're going to edit it in a way that makes him look bad so that no team will want to pick him and say, well, he sucks. We're not going to pick him on our team. And, that way they can turn to all the black people and all the activists who are siding with Kaepernick and say, well, see, we gave him a shot, but nobody wanted to pick him up because his tape is bad.
And probably saying the only reason he's doing all of this is because he sucks.
Right. And so last minute, I think 2-3 hours before the scheduled workout, Colin Kaepernick's team moved the workout to a different location. I think it was about 60 miles away from where the original location was. And they held the workout at a high school. He brought in his own receivers that he knew to throw to. The workout went well for the most part. He looked good, had arm strength. Now it's different working out against air as opposed to working out against a live defense that's trying to knock your head off.
So that's my question, right? So when the normal workout, right? Was it already done for the rest of the teams? For all other groups? Is it done already, or is this like an early, just out of step process they're doing randomly.
See, it's just an out-of-step process they're randomly doing because they want to kind of quiet the firestorm that's become Colin Kaepernick.
At the end of the season.
It's in the middle of the season.
Or the middle of the season.
So they could have scheduled this workout. It's a good point. They could have scheduled this workout in the off season during training camp before the season started. So he had a chance to make a roster and be on a team before the season even started.
See, I know a little bit about sports.
They decided to do this in the month of November, where the season's already halfway gone, and Colin Kaepernick's team's arguing they're just doing it just to shush all the activists and everybody who's on the side of Colin Kaepernick, shush them and be like, well, we gave him a fair shot to make a team. We held a workout. All the teams were present, and nobody picked him because he's not that good. It's a PR move. They were trying to make Colin Kaepernick look bad.
Another question.
On the flip side, go ahead.
So, when they say that all the teams are present, do they have people that they send to the place to watch?
Yeah. I think 28 of the 32 teams. I might be wrong on that number. Maybe 28 of the 32 teams.
So were they
going
to be at this workout, or all the?
They were going to be at the scheduled workout that the NFL scheduled. So when Colin Kaepernick moved it, I think only maybe 10 teams made the trip to the new location to see Colin Kaepernick.
So they still came.
Which is why another prominent ESPN analyst, Stephen A. Smith, said that Colin Kaepernick wanted to be a martyr because he wasn't professional in the way he acted. They had this workout scheduled. You had all these teams that were coming to watch you, all these representatives of these teams, and
wait, Stephen A. Smith, the black guy?
Yes, yeah.
I saw.
Michael Eric Dyson was on there, and he was talking about it. He was on I think the Monday's episode, or because this has happened like a week or two ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So they were all on there talking about it, and he said that Colin Kaepernick wanted to be a martyr. He didn't really want to make a team. He just wanted to be a martyr because if he really wanted to make a team, he would have showed up ready to work out, ready to have this workout in front of these cameras that the NFL set up, and it's like it's not fair because they've been blackballing this dude for this long. The PR is getting bad. The NFL's you need the public on your side to make money. Yeah, you know what I mean? If you're alienating a certain percentage of the public, they're not going to spend money on merchandise. They're not going to watch at games. They're not going to go to games. Well, fuck y'all. Y'all don't want to sign Colin Kaepernick. I'm not buying none of your shit. You know what I mean? So the NFL's just ready to get it over with. They're like, you know what? We're going to hold the workout. We're going to show you that he sucks, and nobody wants to sign him. That's what Colin Kaepernick's team was trying to say. They were trying to make him look bad. Like, okay, well, we gave him a fair shot to make a team. We held a workout. But it was a fuck up on all sides by the NFL. If you were going to do this, do it in the off season so he has a chance to make a team fairly. He can go into training camp, compete with the other quarterbacks.
Nobody's even looking for a person right now. Yeah.
They haven't held a workout like this for any other athlete except for Colin Kaepernick. So if this is the case, why don't you hold workouts like this for other unemployed athletes? White or black, you know what I mean? Other guys who are looking for jobs. They're trying to do it to calm the firestorm that has become Colin Kaepernick.
So do you think it's too far out there that the NFL would try to have their teams or the people they sent or whoever edit videos in a way that would make them... No,
not at all. It's business, man. It's business. It's public relations. I gotta have the public on my side.
Here's my question. In my mind, it would make more money for the NFL to just be like, fuck, put him somewhere. Wouldn't that be the easiest way to quell the firestorm? Be like, oh my god, this is annoying. Fuck it, put him somewhere. Stick him somewhere.
Sports, you got to prove yourself. And to me, regardless of whether he stood up for black people or not, as far as the sport of football, you have to prove that you're capable of playing the position. Yeah. I'm not going to put you there just because.
But he wasn't kicked off because he was bad. He was kicked off because of his political position.
He wasn't that good when he was with the 49ers. But
that's fine.
That doesn't mean he shouldn't get a shot to make another team.
Right.
And they've been blackballing him from even being on a roster, even coming to a training camp to have an opportunity to make a team because of his political stance.
Again, it makes the NFL, it makes the 49ers look bad, right? It makes them look bad because they booted him for
maybe not the 49ers individually, but definitely the NFL because you blackballed this guy. He didn't break any laws. I mean, they have guys in the NFL all the time that get into domestic violence incidents.
Except for the law.
Punch a girl in the face and get recorded on cell phone. Get suspended for 3 or 4 games, miss a couple game checks, and then you're signed back to a team, even though you punched the girl in the face.
That's like Michael Vick's playing again.
Fights.
I mean, all
he did was
dog fights.
Apparently, Kaepernick, what he did was worse than what Michael Vick did, right?
All Colin Kaepernick did was kneel and protest police violence, and how can you say that's a bad thing? You know what I mean? But it's all about public relations. The NFL
Prestige,
Shot a black
To-
dude
to-
in the back the other day.
to the average Army vet, maybe even some black Army vets. I can't speak for everybody. I've never been in the military, but to those guys, you not standing for the national anthem might be a slap in the face. There's no bylaw, there's no rule in the NFL that shows that you have to stand. It's just a custom that you do. You stand for the. We don't stand at home. You know, people in the crowd don't stand. You know, people sit down. But on the field, the coaches, the players, the personnel, they're expected to stand. They don't have to. They don't have to. You're expected to. You know what I mean?
But the fact that
So that's why they're like, the NFL's wrong, because he didn't break any rules, he didn't break any laws, he didn't commit any crimes. You're blackballing him from even
They
making a
targeted
roster.
him for one reason.
Right.
The same reason they're targeting him now with this ridiculous stunt they're pulling.
But PR is crazy
what this
because
is.
they didn't want to sign Kaepernick because they felt like they would be alienating the military side of their audience, right? And they have they do is it Veterans Week or something like that, where they do like these fatigue kind of NFL uniforms where they honor the military every year.
I would
So you
love
know they
to
have
see
a big
the numbers.
relationship with the military. You know,
I would love to see the numbers that makes them think they were even writing this.
it's all
Like
about PR,
it's okay
man.
about saying that, but I would like to see the numbers. How many people in the military were like, "Oh yeah, nah," like we're so mad at him for standing up
And they've
or
had
for
polls.
kneeling.
Some military personnel was like, "Yo, I applaud him. Like he's one of the guys that took a
Right.
stand and said that this thing isn't right." And I don't think he meant to do this when he first started, to be this kind of figure, but he kind of let it snowball into that. And the only other person we could think of that did that kind of act, maybe some of the Olympic athletes that you were saying earlier, is probably Muhammad Ali. Man, went to jail. They stripped him of his title because he wouldn't.
going to Vietnam War.
Yeah, he wouldn't allow himself to be drafted.
It was against what he believed in.
And I mean, pretty much Colin Kaepernick gave up his career because he was standing on a belief.
Yeah.
And I wish I could play his audio from the interview after his workout. He told the NFL owner, stop being scared of him. You know, it's time. Let him on the roster. Give him a fair shot. And, you know, how can you disagree with that? Give the man a fair chance.
Yeah, I mean, this is America.
Just because
like, come on. If he has the skill, he has the ability and the skill, then let him play.
But you notice, a large majority of the NFL is black athletes. I think 83%, something like that. 80% of the NFL is black athletes. And a lot of those guys now, when it comes down to cutting somebody's money, it's like, who said that? Like, when it comes down to protesting, it's all fine and dandy that day if it's on a Sunday. But if I got to go to work Monday, or if I'm protesting and these cops come in and be like, yo, you're going to get locked up if y'all don't move. And you start thinking to yourself, damn, if I get locked up for 3 days,
Right,
I might
I
get
got-
fired.
yeah.
I got bills, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all the NFL players now, they're all standing for that national anthem, hand over the heart. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's kneeling anymore. You know, and Colin Kaepernick stood by his guns, stood his ground, and did what he thought was right. So you got to applaud him for that, man.
Yeah, straight up.
It is just a straight PR fix by the NFL.
It is,
They're trying
man.
to
Like, this
fix
is a
the
stunt, man.
situation.
If there ever was one in the NFL, this is a stunt, man. And
People aren't
they're
stupid. We can see through that shit.
It's a prestige thing with the NFL. They got too many things dipped into, endorsement. They got too many things extended into, like I said, the military. They got too much invested in all sorts of endorsements. Man, they're not going to lose that.
Right.
They don't want to lose that.
So, I mean, that was a quick mention. You know,
Yeah.
Didn't want to save it till next cast because it would have been way old news by now. By then, it's 2 weeks old now. So, applaud Colin Kaepernick, man.
Yeah,
Good job.
straight
Man.
up, man.
Good job for standing by what you believe in, man, and
real talk,
standing up
man.
for black
Like,
people.
not a lot of people do it, man.
Because when
You
he
know?
did that was that year when, I mean, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner.
It was atrocious,
I mean,
man.
it was like a year and a half, 2 year span where people were just getting killed. Like,
Innocent people who were doing nothing. Sandra Bland was arrested for nothing.
dude was selling Lucy cigarettes on the side and got
Choked
choked out and
out to
died.
death, man.
Jesus, man.
Philando Castile said, "Hey, I'm a gun owner. I have a gun," and the dude just shot him before he could do anything.
That was bad, man, because we
That
saw
was
the video.
crazy.
I mean, he's slumping over.
This girl
and-
was crying right there. The
Jesus.
little girl was in the back seat. What kind of cop shoots with the
And fuck
little?
the girl, man. And fuck the
A
little
child
girl.
is present in the back seat.
And when the video started, the cop still had the gun pointed in the window, and he just slumping over, bleeding in the. I'm like, oh my god, that don't look horrible, man. That was a horrible look.
Man, just shot from a distance.
That was
Tamir
horrible,
Rice.
man.
Cops rolled up on a kid playing in the park and shoot him within 2 seconds of arriving at the park. They sped up onto the lawn, hopped out the car, and shot immediately.
Shoot first,
Dude
ask
was
questions
10
later.
years old, 11 years old, man. Little kid playing with a toy.
A kid.
They couldn't stop.
First,
They
ask
couldn't
questions later.
stop to ask.
A kid.
It's crazy. So applause to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for standing up for black people. And,
There's no two ways about this.
hopefully
man.
he gets a fair shot. I'm not opposed to him being in the training camp and getting a fair shot to make a team. Now, if he gets on a roster in the training camp and he's one of 3 quarterbacks and he gets beat out by the other 2 guys because they play better than him, fine. But don't blackball him and say, oh, we're not even going to include him or invite him to a training camp.
They're making
teams?
it worse. Like the NFL is making. Here's the thing: the NFL is making it worse for themselves. If they were just like, look, stick him on a team and let him just go out the natural way if he's not that good of a player,
right?
And if they would have done that from the beginning, this wouldn't even be a thing. But here's the thing: even now, if that happens, there's going to be a percentage of people going to be like, look, man, they set him up to begin with.
They set him up
there
to fail.
was no way. They set him up to fail.
Right.
Now, no, nobody's going to believe the NFL in this situation. Why? Because they're a bunch of fucking white pricks. They just rich and they don't want to. They don't like having their power challenged.
There's no black.
He challenged their power, which is
owner
the
in the
biggest offense you can do in this society. Is challenge white power.
I think they have one minority owner. I think of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Shad Khan or something like that. He's like an Indian, Bangladesh guy or something like that. But there's no black
like
majority owner. I mean, you have minority owners who are black. They might own, 10% of a team or something like that. But there's no
owners,
50+% owner of a team that's black. It's all old rich white men.
What's Jay-Z's at? How much is he?
I think he has an agent company, sports agency or something like that.
I heard people were pissed at Jay-Z
because he set up this workout. He was the one who wanted the owners to send representatives to set up this workout.
I wouldn't say he did it in bad faith.
I don't think so either. I think he did it to give him a chance.
I think that they were like, okay, sure, we'll do this, and that's why this happened in the first place.
And Jay-Z just got rolled up into the situation with the other owners, like, well, you're part of the system too,
right?
Yeah.
So I've been like, I know a lot of people are mad at Jay-Z, but I feel like for what we know about Jay so far, I don't think he's like trying to get Kaepernick fucked over.
Jay-Z
He's probably trying to open up an avenue for communication, and these rich Bamas, of course, again, wouldn't give him a regular situation in which to work out in. They gave him some ridiculous scenario in which they could fuck him over, or like he said earlier, set him up to
7 days to prepare for this workout. They told him about the workout like 3 or 4 or 5 days before they wanted him to work out. You know what I mean? So
you gotta get time to prepare for that.
Right.
What is that?
With their receivers, so they could have told the receivers that were going to work out with him, hey, make sure you drop the balls that he's throwing you, so that way we can say he didn't throw a good ball out there for you to catch.
Like, that's why we have to believe in checks and balances, because when you just have a one group in power, they can do things like this. And obviously, the black community, I feel like we've been through enough to realize, look, we're not just going to trust y'all Bamas.
I think most people saw through it. They knew it was a PR fix.
It's ridiculous, man.
The relationship and all that.
NFL, man, they're making it worse for themselves.
Right. They should
if they wanted to be done with it,
let them compete.
If they wanted to be done with it, dude, they should have been like, look, they could have whispered to any of their groups, be like, make sure you mix on a team and it's benching.
Or
that'd have been it.
Give him a fair shot to make the team. If he's not that good, don't sign him.
Maybe, but even still, I don't believe in that much. I don't believe in NFL that. But if they're willing to pull some shit like this, you don't think they would just stick him on the team and just bench him?
No, of course.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
yes, they blackballed him for 3 years.
I would say they should do that in their best interest.
They got the money. They'll do whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
They'll swing it anywhere.
If we're talking about absolute power corrupts, and a lot of these sports owners are the most affluent and wealthiest people in the society. You know what I mean? Like, how rich you have to be to own a sports team. I mean, look at look at some of the if you go through a list of the top 20 sports owners in the world, a lot of them are soccer teams. You know what I mean? Manchester United and all that. Yeah. These dudes are like $30 billion, worth $22 billion. Like, these dudes are rich as fuck. You know what I mean? So they feel like they can do whatever they want.
They can.
Yeah. Right. So
they do.
That's the sad part about it.
I wonder how many of them are into child porn.
Applause to Colin Kaepernick, man.
Probably.
Any other subjects y'all want to cover before we wrap up?
I'm good, man.
Mums, man, thanks for coming to a cast, man. God damn, man. Come back, man.
Nigga, Mom
Right.
Blaze back. You know what I'm saying?
We need another host, man.
Tell us an idea, talk.
Yo, man, let's talk
Lots.
about the sausages, man.
Right,
Come on,
and
how sausages are made.
Yo, them sausages.
Sausages?
Hey, and Steph, you still got to do the vegan cast for
Exactly.
us, man. Thanks, Steph. You can
And
fake
Steph,
it.
we got your vegan wine right here, man. Let me pull this joint
Bro,
up.
and bring some more of that vegan, that rice you made.
So you talking about the rice with rosemary in that joint.
Exactly, man. The rice with rosemary.
This wine is vegan.
Zoom in on that, Steph.
Yeah.
Zoom in. Right.
It's got the seal of approval.
Exactly.
The seal of vegan approval.
No preservatives.
No preservatives.
Yeah, no
It might have
additives.
preservatives.
Something like that.
Well,
But no meat.
Yeah, ain't
No
got no
egg
meat
white.
in that wine, dog. No meat in that
No.
joint, Steph. You good.
Because I was like, what is vegan wine,
Right.
yo? What the hell they been putting in the wine anyway, yo? They got...
You don't pork in that
they
joint.
take
know
out
what
the,
I'm saying?
take out the glucose.
Right. No glucose in that drink.
There's gonna be blood.
There's no glucanose.
There's no glucanose.
You gotta switch the name on that joint. Glucanose.
They gonna put some sausages in that.
Right.
joint.
There's no sausage.
So you see this? You see the zebra? That's what the fucking wine is.
It's a
But no,
herbivore.
the joint is vegan, so no zebra.
Zebra's a herbivore.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us on the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. Once again, I'm your host, D.
Juice?
Big C at you. Bubbly.
Ha ha.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Dig it.
Don't go to Alabama.